Thank you for joining me here today at the Western District's live steamers. We're here today to talk about the club engine built in 1992. This track was established in 1968 and we're going to give it a review. Welcome to Grubby Machines. I'm Zach and thank you for joining me. Okay, so let's prep this thing. First thing we need to do is, now everything's got bearings on this, has been oiled up. So, hydraulic oil tank, check. Open up this little door here. Little clip in here. Yep, there appears to be black stuff on there. It's still pretty brown. Pretty good. They do keep the maintenance up on this thing. It is very fiddly to screw back in. It's just in there. Okay, so check the oil, close that up. All right, and then this whole thing lifts up here. Check we have go-go juice. Yep, we have go-go juice. And that's about it really. We come around the other side. And we push this in. That's our fuel line. And we'll do brake checks, etc. once we get onto those. Here we are today at the Western District's live steamers. We've come here to talk about this thing. This is number 7002. This is one of the early engines of the club. This is the club diesel, used mainly for public hauling, and it's done many, many miles. It's roughly modelled off a New South Wales Government Railways locomotive. And today, we're going to see how it goes. This is a diesel hydraulic locomotive. This club has been here for quite a while. It's quite a big space. There's a dog park over there. There's an elevated railway behind me as well that's not used for public running. But it's very fun on play days. We'll have some engines to review in there later. Some electric engines and some steam engines. All right, let's talk a bit about 7002 over here. It's older than me. It's definitely older than me. It's got a genuine Honda single-cylinder engine in it. Very nice engine. I have one of them in my own locomotive, and I'll tell you what, they're very smooth. They just keep running. They keep going, keep going. This has a petrol hydraulic transmission in it. So for those of you that don't know, if something this small, a lot of them, and one of the other club diesels here, they have a centrifugal clutch, like a go-kart or a mini bike or anything like that. And they work well. They're a little bit rough, but this is extra smooth. It's got a engine running an oil pump, which then in turn runs a hydraulic motor. And there's a valve in it to control forwards and reverse. It also controls the flow. It's like having a definite number of gears. So if you want more speed, you give it more oil or more on the transmission. If you want more power, you give it more throttle on the engine. And you can feel it. It's like being too high in transmission in your car. If you feel like the engine's bogging down or it's going to stall, you need to give it more throttle. And if you want a bit more speed, then you need to give it more on the transmission. And you'll see what I mean by that when we drive. It's very smooth. It also acts like a brake. As you bring it back into the center position, it comes to a stop quite nicely. So here we are at the controls. This is Banksia Station. This is the elevated line as well. We have our main station over there, and there is another place we'll stop at. It's quite a nice railway here at Western Districts. Nice little line. It's dual gauge. We have 5 and 7 1/4 inch gauge. This locomotive and most of the passenger hauling stuff here is 7 1/4 inch gauge. So for the controls, this is the handbrake, on, off. It's got a little trigger on top. This is the throttle for the actual engine. We've got stop, idle and run. This is the choke for cold starting. We're not going to need that right now because it's already been running. Key start, on, ignition off. I'll show you that in a moment. We've got a horn here, and we've got headlights. This is our hydraulic transmission I was talking to you about. It's got a divot in the center there, so you can always pop it back in the middle. But yeah, forwards, nothing. Reverse, and when I say nothing, it does pull the brakes on. You very rarely need to use the brakes, and that's what this thing is over here. This is actually a vacuum brake pump, which lives here with the starting battery under the bum truck. So the train has got continuous brakes running through it. Here's the headlight up the front there. Help if we turn it on. Here we go. Our headlight up the front, nice new LED headlight. It used to actually be a torch originally. And over here is the level for the hydraulic transmission. And yeah, there's the track, the dual gauge 7¼ inch track. So we have 5-inch gauge rails here and 7¼ inch rails on the outside here. This is 7¼ inch, as is the passenger carriages here. Having said that, you can pull 7¼ inch carriages with a 5-inch locomotive. So let's have a look. So first things first, start it. All right, handbrake off. It's very smooth. It takes on power much smoother than a clutch. It's very controllable as well, but everything's very little movements. And unless you've got a big train behind it, it really does stick to its own thing. Now, we have no signals on today. This is a maintenance day. We're not filming these videos when the public are running. So we do have, all the signals are out at the moment. But we're the only train on the line. The line's set. We're going to watch the points as we go round. There's the rest. Okay, so let's talk about looks and functionality with this. Let's start with looks. It's based off a New South Wales Government Railway 70 class. In that regard, it shares some of the features of a New South Wales Government Railways 70 class. It has a long hood and a short hood. It has 6 coupled wheels being driven by a jack shaft, and that's about where the similarities end. For a comparison, in another video later on, we will be reviewing a more detailed model of a 70 class. Mechanically wise though, and practically, this thing does exactly what it was built for. This was made to help with maintenance and to pull public passenger trains, and it does that brilliantly. It's very controllable. It can walk away with almost anything you put behind it. I've never had it overloaded or struggle with a load, especially around our railway. We generally only pull 2 passenger carriages. And in that regard, this is a fantastic locomotive. It's very good for people to learn how to drive on. It's one of the first engines that a lot of people drive when they become a member of our club. And it does exactly what it was meant to do. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review today. We've got lots more coming up. This is the very first video of the channel. We've got some heavy vehicles coming up, possibly some buses. We've got some steam trains coming up. We've got some smaller stuff. We've got some bigger stuff. If you've got something you want me to review, let me know. And thank you, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.